Well, hi everyone. Thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy day to learn all about social media and content marketing. And again, thank you for taking a second and just typing in there that you could hear me. I just want to double check one really fast thing just to make sure the audio is working, and it is. So anyway, thank you very much for taking time to learn about content and social media marketing for small businesses. Really, this works for any business. We just tend to talk to a lot of small businesses because many of the larger businesses out there have an entire IT department, social media marketing department, all kinds of crazy things going on in this new media world. But we're going to talk today about how you can increase your Google rank, grow your web traffic, build community engagement, and drive leads and referrals, because after all, that's why you're on this call. You want to figure out how you can turn this social media marketing deal into a real ROI for your business. My name's Keith Sorrow. I'm the Vice President of Sales for Digital Sherpa, and we're going to get started. So, when you think about any business internet marketing priorities and challenges, it really boils down to a few different things. The first thing is you have to get discovered on the web. And in order to do that, you need to try to get proprietary traffic. In other words, people that are coming directly to your site, as opposed to maybe a listing service where you have your business like Service Magic or something and you're competing against several like businesses in that industry. Because when you have to compete, obviously, you have people have more choices. There's less chance for you to get that actual lead. So trying to get that proprietary traffic directly to you is a really important strategy. Now, social media has come into the mix in order to help this process, and we're going to demystify a lot of that today. And then getting that traffic, once you get that traffic, what happens, right? Are you converting, and what percent are you converting that traffic to take the next step? Then analyzing and optimizing how and why that worked, and then turning around and doing it again. But the bottom line is, if you don't get discovered and you see this little funnel here and get into the top of the funnel and then work people down the funnel to convert that traffic to take the next step, figure out why it's working, do it again, and stop doing the things that aren't working, that's where people really run into issues. I find that a lot of companies look at their website almost as a living brochure. They will drive potential prospects to the website to see their work and things. But there are a lot of companies, and hopefully people are starting to shift their thinking, are thinking about their website as they're not thinking about it as a living, breathing thing, something that can drive new traffic, new business, and organic traffic, which is really important, which is people that are typing in things into Google and finding you. The reason why we run into this issue with a lot of small businesses is that there's three main barriers. You only have so much time. You understand your business like the back of your hand, but this internet marketing stuff can be really daunting. And then last but not least, you only have so much money, and trying to figure out where that's going to go is a real challenge. But getting found on the web is truly the head pin of web marketing. And there are tons of ways to drive traffic to your site, and more are popping up every day. YouTube has become extremely popular. You can do pay-per-clicks. You can do some SEO optimization on the back end of your site. But at the center of all of these ways for traffic and conversion is content. If there's one thing that people are really starting to understand as they're reading more and more on the internet and attending more seminars and webinars like this, is that content is king. And the reason is there's really two paths to social media marketing. You have content marketing, which is a term that more and more people are learning. More people are hearing about social networking and social media marketing. But you can't really have one without the other, and this is where people really miss the boat. Just a quick couple of easy definitions at Wikipedia. When you think about social media marketing first, let's talk about that, or social networking. Just think about it this way. That's the place where people hang out that are interested in all different types of information. So they like your page because they're interested in interior design or real estate or whatever. However, if you're not publishing good content, you're not going to keep them interested. And that's where content marketing comes into play. And also something else very interesting happens, especially when you integrate a blog into your content marketing strategy and feed that content into your social networks, which we'll talk about more. But first, let's talk about content. There are really 5 important rules when you think about the type of content that you want to put out on the web. Number 1 is you have to create fresh, frequent, unduplicated, and unique content. That's a really powerful strategy for driving organic and direct web traffic. The second thing is blogs have become really important in this mix because their content management system makes it really easy for anyone to populate content regularly. Third, blogs are also very search engine friendly. It's another reason why they've become so popular, because it neatly organizes that content and indexes it so that Google and Bing and Yahoo and other search engines can find it and organize it really, really easily. We also know that a well-executed blogging strategy will really share massive SEO benefit with its related website. And last but not least, when you send that content into the social web, and people interact with it, it can really exaggerate that organic and direct traffic results. And we're going to break that down. But another thing that you need to think about is when you start to decide and you're going, okay, how do I do this? I know that this is important. Everywhere I go, people are saying you need a blog, you need to be on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, all this other stuff that's popping up. And you start to wonder, can I do this myself? Should I outsource it? Well, one thing that you need to think about, regardless of whether you do it yourself or outsource, is that the biggest violation and biggest mistake that people make is that they publish duplicate content. What do I mean by duplicate content? Let's say you go to an very industry important to you website, and you see a great story, and you take that story and you cut and paste that story and you put it right into your blog. That's not a good strategy. And the reason is Google gets confused. It doesn't know where it originated, and as a result, it's only going to serve up the link to the site where it feels like the content actually started, and it's going to potentially block everyone else. So the way to actually write that content instead, because the internet is all about sharing, is to write a little lead in about what was interesting about that story and link it back to the full story. That's not a violation. Linking is a great strategy. It's also a good SEO strategy, and it shows Google that your that outbound link or inbound link is something that's a really good thing for SEO or search engine optimization. So don't make that mistake. Make sure that the content you're writing is truly unique. I have to dispel one of the biggest web marketing myths, and that is you get your team in your room and you come up with a list of about 25 or 30 or 50 different keyword phrases that you feel like are obvious that someone's going to type in when somebody's looking for your type of business. The keyword is you feel like it's obvious. You may have even done a little research, went to Google AdWords, saw that this particular word was really, really popular, and you want to focus on those words. But what you need to realize is that the myth is I have to rank very high for a popular query to get lots of traffic, and that's not really true. Let's use this example. To be number one for, let's say, home design. Let's say you're a designer or a builder, and you think home design is an obvious term. Number one, you're going to compete massively from sites that have way more content volume with you. So it's going to be really hard for you to break through SEO-wise on that term. But don't lose sleep over it, because that term home design is only a small slice of that design search pie. Really, it's almost not what the traffic that you really want either. And the reason is that consumer doesn't really know what they're looking for. It's too general. And it doesn't always result in a meaningful conversation. Unless, of course, you have the world's best web page, meaning you've got so much content out there that you can't, no one can catch you. But that's not usually the case in the small business world. So put yourself in the shoes of the searcher, because the search engine will. Here's an example. Home Design New England. You see what pops up. A local magazine that's very, very popular that publishes way more content than you ever will. That's who you have to compete with. Now, that being said, before you say, wait a minute, but that's a term, if I don't have it, I'm going to lose a ton of business. I want to explain what's called the long-tailed search. And this comes from Doug Cook. He was a search director for Twitter, Yahoo, and has a great blog called The Able Great. And what he explains is that 25% of the way people search are those obvious search terms like home design New England. or custom home builder or accounting in Arkansas, right? Whatever type of business you are. That's how 25% of people search. The other 75% of people are typing in a very direct question or a long-tailed search. Here's an example. You might think interior design is what someone would type in. Well, they do 25% of the time. The other 75% of the time, people are typing in things like interior design ideas for the bedroom, cool bedroom decorating ideas, Japanese restaurant interior design. These are real searches. Why? Because people, including myself, I've gotten a little lazy. I want a direct answer to my question when I go to Google or Yahoo or Bing for any type of search. I want it now. And I want to be very specific in the way I ask my question. So if you were to take a step back and try to think about all the ways that somebody could type in information or a question or a search in Google to find you, you will go batty. You will come up with hundreds, maybe even thousands of different combinations of words. So you need to take a step back. I'm not telling you that it's not important to think about those obvious search terms and to keep those, in your query and in your focus when you're thinking about your internet marketing, but you need to create many more keywords than you ever have before. There's tons of content out on the web and you need to stand out. So there's really a couple of different ways that people can find you on the web. One way is that you're being marketed through a dominant content provider, like in this case, that New England Home Magazine. So imagine if you had information on their site, banner ads, or something on there that talks about you, could be a listing, whatever the case may be. That's a good way, but you're going to have to compete when you do that. You're going to have to compete with other like industries. So the best way to do it is to get that consumer directly to you. And no, I never said I could draw. But anyway, but you want that consumer to get directly to you. And that's what we're going to talk about next. So, blah, blah, blah. You've been talking for 15 minutes. Tell me how this works. All right, we're going to break it down really, really simply. First of all, let's talk about how search engines work. Now, I'm talking about Google, but really all search engines. The reason I'm talking about Google is that they still get about 75% of the search. They pretty much own the web. Everybody else is getting bits and pieces, okay? Now, remember I told you earlier, I want you to think about Google as a big file cabinet for the internet. All it does all day long is crawl the web looking for fresh, frequent, unique content. When it finds it, it's going to take that content, it's going to organize it around keywords, it's going to throw the link to that page in this file, and it's going to throw it in the Google file cabinet so people can find it. That's what Google does all day long. Remember the rule though, you have to write fresh, frequent is key too, unique and unduplicated content all the time. Now, when you do that, what's going to happen is Google's going to organize it like I just explained. And your goal as an internet marketer is to get as many search terms as possible to live in the Google file cabinet. That's step one. Step two is to get as many of those keywords as possible to get moved up to the top page of the file cabinet, which represents page one of Google. Because as you know, if you don't show up on page one in a Google search, you don't really exist. Think about the last time you rolled down the bottom of Google and clicked page 2 or page 3. Unless, of course, you were frustrated and trying to see where your business showed up. Consumers typically do not do that in a search. They will refine their searches and keep typing in different things until they get what they want. Okay, so now let's talk about what a blog is. And forgive me if this is elementary, because I know I have people on the line with lots of different levels of understanding. But I also find that there's a lot of confusion even with people that have a high level of understanding on what a blog is. And I hear all kinds of definitions, so I'm going to simplify. A blog is a website. Yes, it is. It is a website. And the reason it's a website is because it has a URL, just like any other website does. However, a blog also allows you to add content often and easily, interactive, because somebody can leave a comment on your blog, which is a great way to get potential leads. It neatly organizes that content, like I explained earlier, for the search engine so they can find it. It can be your main website, and there's some really sophisticated versions of WordPress out there, that are actually, we work with for people's main websites. But most commonly, if somebody has a website already, you're going to attach a blog to it. And when you integrate that blog properly, it can actually show Google that your main website is being updated. One of the biggest issues that I run into all the time, and I want you to ask yourself a question right now. When is the last time I updated my content in a major way on my website? I'm not talking about if you're a realtor and you add a listing. I'm talking about major content changes. Why is that important? Because remember I told you Google likes fresh, frequent content. So I run into businesses all the time that spent $10, $15, $30, $40,000 on their website or more, and they haven't changed it or updated it in 2 or 3 years. And that's a problem, because now you've just lost the ability and the interest in Google's eyes. So one of the reasons that people integrate a blog is that when you write fresh, frequent content on the blog and it's integrated with your current site, it actually shows Google that your website is being updated as well, even though it's the blog that's doing the updating. So a blog is a way to keep you fresh and frequent in the search engine's eyes. Also, let me just kind of show you what happens when you do a blog post. So here's a story about keeping your children safe by following these tips. Now think about this. This is a kids' furniture store. So they feel like writing content that would be, they want to write content that would be interesting to the type of consumer that they want to do business with. That's the right strategy. So I have a child. I'm thinking about furniture. Maybe my kid's a climber. My kid is, by the way, he's 5 and he can climb like a mad dog. But, you know, I want to know, how do I keep my children safe when I'm buying this furniture? And here's a great story that talks about it, okay? Now, when this story gets written, Google goes, ooh, here's a new, fresh story. Question 1, do I see it anywhere else on the web? Nope, it's unique, it's unduplicated. Okay, now I'm going to do my job and I'm going to organize it. Oh, look here, it left me a little roadmap, tags. These tags are really the obvious search terms that I talked about earlier that maybe 25% of people would search. Okay? Those are the obvious search terms. Google sees that, grabs those tags, grabs the link to the page where this story lives on, throws it in the file cabinet, names it those tags, and then throws it in the file cabinet. Okay? That's step 1. Step 2 is Google's going to fly through the content of this story, and this is what people don't realize. It's going to pull out other words that it feels like are important, and it's going to make keyword phrases and keywords there as well, label them on the manila folder or the file folder, throw the link to the page and put that in the file cabinet as well. So every story you write could create anywhere from 20, 30, 40, who knows how many keyword phrases. But the more you write, the more keywords you create. And if you continue to write content that you feel like would be interesting to the type of customer you want to do business with, you are going to end up writing relevant content and create relevant keyword searches. Is it starting to click? Take a step back and think about this for a minute. If you are a closet company and you know that customers come in all the time with a problem, say you live in Florida, it's very, has very high humidity, and people come in all the time with the problem that moisture has happened in their closet and now they have mold. Okay? What a great story to write. How to keep mold out of your closet. Because somebody having that problem is going to go to the internet and ask that sort of a question, and you're hoping that that story comes up, leads them to your blog, which essentially can lead them to your business. That's what I'm talking about. Writing content gets your site found. Now, where does social media come into the mix? We haven't even gotten to that yet. Well, think about this. If you have a like page, okay, and I'm sure people are on this call, you understand why, some of the reasons why social media marketing is important, so I don't want to belabor it too much. But I want to explain the few reasons why it's gotten so popular. Number 1 is, if you have people hanging out that liked your page on Facebook and you're sharing content all the time, let's say they're a past customer. That's great. They could come back and buy something else. Or they can click the share button and now they can share that with their friends, and their friends can share that with their friends' friends. What happens is you can create what's called digital word-of-mouth referral, and that's become very, very popular, and it's allowed businesses to reach out way farther than they could in traditional media. So those are 2 of the reasons. The third reason a lot of people don't know, and that is whenever I click on a link, okay, let's say this information comes from the blog. See, this is Keep Your Children Safe by following these tips. So let's say I click on that link. All it's going to do is take me back to the blog to read that story, because it's just a link. But it's a very important thing, because that's a sign of relevance. Google sees that somebody clicked on that link from a very popular site and went back to this story to read it. It said, wait a minute, I remember this story, and I remember the keywords that I organized from this story, and people like it, and I want to serve up, the more someone likes it, the more people are interested in it, the more I want to serve it up higher, closer to page 1, so that more people can find it. That's called organic search, and that's called increasing your Google rank. So people interacting with your content tells Google that your content is important, and it wants to take those keywords that are created, for example, from this story, and move it up higher in rank so that people can find it. So what's happened is human interaction through content has become its own algorithm. And that's become very, very important in Google's eyes. Same thing with Twitter. Same thing if you put content on Pinterest. The reason why we talk a lot about Facebook and Twitter is that those are the two most popular sites. You got 900 million people that go to Facebook every month. That's unbelievable, okay? If you are not marketing yourself to the social media world, you are absolutely, positively missing a market. This is not a fad. This is not going away. Whether you do this on your own or hire someone else, having a blog integrated with social media is a very, very important strategy. And the longer you wait to do it, the longer it's going to take you to catch up, because people are launching blogs every day. And SEO is a marathon, not a race. Let me give you some examples of how this works. Here's a blog that we actually manage for a company, and he asked us to write, it's wainscoting. Now, people might know what it is from looking at it, but there's a lot of people that don't actually know what wainscoting is. They just know that they have walls, and they want to do something interesting to them. So they asked us to write a story, 5 ways to add interest to your walls. So I played consumer. And I just went to Google and I typed in ways to add interest to your walls in Connecticut. Check this out. Number 1 and 2, the first 2 organic searches that came up on page 1 is a link back to their blog. That's powerful. Oh, by the way, also their Facebook page came up, right? Crazy. Facebook doesn't get crawled like a blog does, but Facebook will sometimes get served up. If you want SEO, if search engine optimization is important to you, then a blog is a really important part of the strategy. If it's not, and you don't want new business from Google, which I would be surprised if you didn't, then, and you just want to engage your fans and followers, a Facebook straight social media strategy is the way to go. There's lots of different ways to go, but by having a blog connected to Facebook and Twitter, you're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You're going to activate your fans and followers by giving them great content, and your fans and followers, what you hope, are your customer or prospect, right? And new people, which could become prospects. But while you're doing that and writing that content and engaging people in social media, Google is indexing everything you write, and it's allowing you to come up organically in search, just like these guys do. Think of the blog as almost like home base. That's where the content lives, and now you're using Facebook, Twitter, and other social media sites, LinkedIn, whatever, to aggregate that content or to market that content. It's like if you were a magazine publisher. The more places you have your magazine and the more stores and the more racks, the more magazines you're going to sell. It's the same thing with your type of content. The more places you aggregate that content, the more opportunities you have to get new people looking at that content. And again, what did I tell you earlier? Getting found on the web is the headpin of internet marketing. Here's another example. An architecture firm. We wrote a story about an award that they won. So I just went to Google. I pretended I lived in New Hampshire, and I typed in award-winning architects in New Hampshire. That's a relevant search. Check it out. The very first organic search is a link back to their website, not their blog. And look, there's 3 people that paid, through Google Ads to be above this person. Let me talk about that for a brief second. The thing about Google AdWords, it's a good strategy, and buying keywords, can be effective, but you can also spend a lot of money on wasted search. So you have to be really, really careful on the way you buy those types of keywords. But think about it. Consumers have gotten very smart, and Google says ads, and it says ads here. They're not ashamed to tell you they paid to be here. Many people are skipping these and going right down to the first organic search. Organic is better. The reason people buy it is because they don't want to do the work or take the time to come up organically, or There are specific keywords that they know they won't break through search engine optimization because there's too much competition, and they'll lose sleep at night if they don't get themselves to come up in those search terms, those popular search terms. So a mix is okay, but understand that organic is always better. But why did this serve up their website instead of their blog? Let me explain. This blog is actually attached to the subdomain of TMS Architect's website. Hopefully that's the only geeky thing I'll say today. In other words, tmsarchitects.com is their main URL. By giving them blog.tmsarchitects.com and a little bit of technical data to map it to their site, it actually showed Google that their website is being updated when I know for a fact that this particular company hadn't updated their website in years. So it was absolutely the blog that caused that link to the site to come up. That will happen sometimes. Sometimes it will serve up the blog. Sometimes it will serve up the website. But at the end of the day, you don't really care. You just want someone to find either one. And also, you want people to be able to get to your website from the blog and vice versa. On your website, you want to put a link to your blog. Because when you think about it, because one of the questions I ask is, if a blog is a website and I have a website, why do I need both? Well, your website itself is all about you, right? It's all about your business, the type of work you've done, customer testimonials, which is all really important. But a blog is an extension of you. A blog is where you're going to be able to write content that makes you look like the expert that you know you are. And those expert tips and tricks are going to create keywords that become relevant searches and answer people's questions. As well as you're still going to use your website as a living brochure. You've got that customer that's interested. Hey, go to my website and see some of my work. Well, guess what? They can click over to the blog, read things about you that are really interesting, and industry tips and tricks that prove that you're the expert, so it can aid in getting that sale as well as getting new business. Do you see how it fits in? And everything works together, and that's how, and then social media connected to it helps you market that content. Here's another example, because I could do examples all day long. A veterinarian clinic asked us to write a story about pet phobias. Lots of skittish pets out there. And I just went to Google and typed in vet clinics that understand pet phobias in Little Rock, Arkansas. And again, the first two organic searches that came up were a link back directly to that vet clinic's blog. That's powerful stuff. Again, it's proving to someone that this clinic understands their issue. When my question is answered, I am 10 to 100 times more likely to click through, and then you're hoping that you can capture that name or get them to take the next step. But if you don't get found, nothing happens. Last example, I'm sorry, I had one more. 5 questions to ask an interior designer. Just typed in questions to ask an interior designer in Boston, and you can see a link to that interior designer's website. So, without the content for all these examples, they would not have come up in these long-tailed searches. And there are hundreds, and in some cases thousands of ways that each one of these blogs will come up, because the more content you write, the more keywords you're going to create. And the more keywords that are out there, the easier it is for someone to find you. Now, you think about this and you go, I only have so much time in a day. So if I started a blog and I got Facebook and I already have Facebook now, and I'm writing some status updates here and there. I'm tweeting kind of. Some are doing more than others. I have a blog or I don't have a blog, but a lot of people that have a blog haven't written content in the past month or longer. So how in the heck can I get this done? How long does this stuff take if I want to do it myself? Well, I did kind of an analysis based on different studies, and to set up a WordPress blog, and WordPress is a very friendly platform, but depending on your technical ability, could take anywhere from 6 to 20 hours just to get it looking the way you want, the plugins, widgets, graphics, to map it to your domain, 1 or 2 hours, to create a Facebook page and Twitter page for your business, that's going to take an hour, to connect it all to auto feed and attach Google Analytics, you're looking at another 3 to 5 hours. In all, just to set it up, it's going to take you 10 to 28 hours. But there was an interesting study last year that talked about how much time businesses are spending working content marketing and social media marketing. And the 58% of businesses are spending 6 hours weekly, and 34% are spending 11 plus hours weekly doing this, right? So it takes a lot of time to do it properly. The other thing that I hear all the time is, oh man, I had this great intern. She really understands, or he really understands Facebook. They're going to handle my social media marketing for me. Whoa. Guys, this is a really important thing. They certainly can help. But if you had a $20,000 or $50,000 ad budget, would you give it to an intern to place your radio, TV, newspaper? No way. You need to take this very, very seriously, and you need to make sure that whoever's doing this for you understands how to properly do content and social media marketing. Just because someone is a good writer doesn't mean they know how to write things in an SEO style in the way that Google likes. So make sure that's really important. Now, you can learn how to do it, and you can gain the expertise, but you have to be willing to invest the time and energy. Attend seminars and webinars like this, read lots of blogs. It totally can be done. But at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself one question. Is it going to cost me money to do this myself, or will it make me money? If you feel like it will cost you money to do this yourself, then we have a solution for you. It's called Digital Sherpa, and it's content marketing for small businesses. And it doesn't matter what type of business you are. We work with all different types, anywhere from accounting firms and insurance agencies, all the way to interior design firms, builders, realtors, architects, and just about anything, music companies, just about anything in between. We currently manage over 1,500 blogs for different businesses all around the country. So the first thing we do in one of our basic programs is we'll design a WordPress blog for you. We will map it to the subdomain of your main website, okay? So it's to integrate it to your site. We'll set up Google Analytics, because you can't know what's working if you can't measure it. So you can't manage what you can't measure, right? And we'll go through that with you monthly so you can see what type of traffic you're getting, what type of keywords are driving traffic, and so on. We'll also give you a call tracking number. Now, I realize that many of you have been on other webinars and been reading, and maybe you're looking to outsource, and you're thinking, okay, well, that's great. You set up the blog. We also create Facebook and Twitter business pages for you. If you have it already, that's great. You're ahead of the game. We take Facebook and Twitter, and we connect it to the blog so it's set up to auto feed. That's usually where companies stop. They provide a software solution for you, and then you have to go do the work yourself. We, however, take it a step further. What we have is an account manager that's assigned to you, and I want to explain this kind of daunting diagram here. You've got the internet that's looking for all sorts of different things. You've got consumers that are out there, the internet's organizing all kinds of things, searching, crawling, and organizing it and indexing it. And you have consumers looking for lots of information. And then here's you. Now, you look better than this little guy over here, of course, but you've got all this information, news, photos, events, products, sales. It's a wealth of information that you want to share with the world. What we do is we get that information from you, and after we set up your system, we physically write, tag, and post 8 pieces of original, unique content per month. I'm telling you, if we have 500 interior designers, which we don't, we would never use the same story, because we know that's in direct violation of the Google algorithm and Panda rule for duplicate content. So everything we write is for you and for you only. The next thing we do is we watch your blog itself for comments, and nothing posts unless we allow it to post. We do ask you to watch your Facebook and Twitter feed so that you can understand what's going on. We email you analytics every single month so that you can review and see what's going on and watch the traffic grow. We'll assist with any questions as well, and we have mydigitalsherpa.com and other sites available for you to do some coaching and understand a little more. We do this whole program for only $425 per month, and it's a 13-month contract. Now, there's 2 things that you have to do to be successful with this type of program. Number 1 is no one knows your business better than you do. What we know how to do is to write content and research content and about any business, but we also know how to write it in the way that Google likes it. So we just need you to be involved. If you give us 30 or 45 minutes a month, or email us ideas and photos, give us ideas about what you like and don't like about the content we're writing already, and also to expand on what you would like us to write more about. That's a huge strategy, and we'll do all the heavy lifting for you as far as taking the time to write it properly, post it, and tag it. That's number 1. The second thing that you need to do is that we don't know your customers and prospects, you do. So in this program, you need to work to grow your social media fans and followers. So get your customers and prospects to know that they have a Facebook and Twitter page, that you have it, and get them to like you on Facebook and follow you on Twitter and any other social media site that you decide you want to get involved with. Your account manager will help coach you on that. All you have to do is ask for tips and tricks. And we do have other programs available if you want to take it a step further. That's our program called Digital Sherpa Pro, and again, it's $425 a month. And the reason why a lot of people buy this program is because they know they want to attract online traffic, they want new customers, they want content that makes them look like the expert that they know they are, but they don't have time to do it themselves, and it will cost them money to do it themselves because it takes away from customer engagement. They want to generate leads, want social media presence because they know it's important, but all in all, it's going to save you a ton of time and money. I mean, we will spend literally about 10 hours a week, so 40 hours a month on your account for $425 a month. You do the math, it's under $11 an hour. It's less than minimum wage, and you don't have to give any benefits or a space in your office. It's a very affordable way to go. Now, if you're not interested in blogging and that particular system, we have other programs for you as well. One is called Campaign Sherpa, which we can run contests and campaigns for you. And then we also have Design Sherpa Premium, a more advanced blogging platform. And we also have two Social Media Standard and Social Media Professional, where we can really focus just on Facebook and Twitter and help grow your fans and followers and engagement. So we have just about something for anyone. So what I ask you to do, if you want to find out how Digital Sherpa can help your business, just like you did before, you went to digitalsherpa.com and signed up for this webinar, you can click Talk to Our Experts right away, or click a free consultation, and myself or someone on my team will reach out to you to find out exactly what your specific needs are and see if we have a program that can fit those needs. Or you can email me directly at ksaro@nci.com, or you can call me. I'm not afraid to give you my phone number at 913-908-2393. So what I'd like to do now is open the floor for any questions. And thank you very much